Hi, and welcome to Mystic Dude Last Epoch video. So in this video, just prior to the release of 1.1 today and tomorrow, I'm just going to be showing, for the benefit of new players, just a basic introduction to loop filters, how it works. Absolutely fantastic feature in Last Epoch. If you're coming from Diablo 4, you probably don't understand what the words loop filter actually mean. So stick around and see. If you're coming from Path of Exile, you'll know what a loop filter is. This is a lot easier to manage than Path of Exile's loop filter. Uh, in my opinion, I think it is a hell of a lot better than Path of Exile, but that's just opinionated. Yeah, if you're proficient with Path of Exile, you'll have no problem with this. Diablo 4, like I say, you probably don't understand what a loop filter is, and if I went go and open my stash, you would probably pass out just trying to look at all the number of tabs. But yeah, so let's get into this our loop filter work. So here I am. I'm just on Echo of World platform near monoliths. I've dropped a few items on, just varying types. And as you can see, they're all showing as you'd expect. They've got a nice band of light above them. Uh, for your special items, they're nice coloured. Depending on the rarity and different types. So let's say we've just killed an enemy, and this is what's dropped. And like you might only be interested in the uniques and the higher level items, or you might only be interested in specific types or specific classes. Yeah, you might not want everything showing. So it's like, how do you hide or show what's relevant to you? And you do that with a loop filter. So we'll go into settings for loop filter, or you can just hit Shift F and it'll come up. But if you want to find it in your settings, I'll just show you again. So just go into settings and in gameplay, just scroll down and you've got manage filters. And you can also enable your filters from that drop down list there. So click on manage filters and that gets you to the same screen as Shift F. And it gives you a bit of an example. So you can import a filter. Just a quick mention on that. There's plenty of sites and plenty of content creators and experienced Last Epoch players who share their filters for either their builds, specific builds, for leveling, for endgame. So yeah, feel free to browse them. But I, I think it's beneficial if you learn how to create your own. I think it's a lot better and it's more engaging with the game. So click on create filter and it'll bring this screen up. Again, you can import one, you can copy one that you've copied because you can share them, between your friends and stuff. So anyway, let's click on new. So let's call it demo filter. So you give it a name, whatever, you know, and then a description. This is just for your own. You can call it what you want, just to help you remember what you set it up for. So you might put leveling filter, endgame filter, rogue filter, sentinel. You know. So for this, I'll just put video demo, and you can choose an icon again, whichever purpose suits you, and then you can color code it. And as you can see, it comes up now. Demo filter with color on it. Absolutely fantastic, really flexible. But there we've got our filter. So as you can see, it says add rule 075. All these items are showing. So we might not want them all to show. So let's set up our first basic filter. So let's say we want everything to show except these blues. Yeah, these magic items. Yeah, so we need to hide them. So we'll set up a hide rule. So I'll just do that again. I clicked it before explaining it. So yeah, click on add rule. There is an information there. It'll bring up. If you ever see this in Last Epoch, just click it. Last Epoch has an absolutely fantastic guide, by the way, one of the best game guides ever. So there's a lot more information in that. So yeah, click on add rule. So we're going to hide. We want to hide the blue items. And that's handy, that being there, because it's outside the box. I can't move the box around. I can still walk around, but I can't. It'd be nice if I could move the actual window box. So let's just position ourselves so we can see that blue item. So there we go, that blue item over there. So we're going to add a rule, and now we're going to hide it. So you've got this drop box here, show, hide, recolor. Yeah, so I hope they're self-explanatory. Show is show, hide, recolor, recolors it. So we want to hide it. So now we need to tell it what we want it to hide. So click on this, and what we're hiding. So we're hiding an affix or class level. We're hiding it by rarity. So we'll click rarity, and then we've got all the rarities here. What rarity are we hiding? So we want to hide magic. So once you've selected that, you need to actually add the rule. And as you can see, the blue items now have disappeared, and we've got a rule that's been added under this filter. Yeah, so we'll just disable it. That didn't work that quick. I thought that would have been automatic. So let's just update it. We'll just take it off. There we go. The blue items are back. So now let's say we want to hide an item by type. So one-handed sword. So we will hide, add a condition. So this time we're adding an item type rather than rarity. Yeah. So we'll add item type. So now we're looking for weapons. So it's a one-handed weapon. We want to hide all one-handed weapons. We might be running a class or a build that is just using two-handed weapons. So we don't want the one-handed ones to drop. And as you can see, it gives you a number of how many's available. So you don't need to hide all one-handed. For this purpose, it's one-handed sword. So we can select all of them, or we can just select one-handed sword. So we'll select all of them. And like before, you need to confirm it. And then, like before, for it to be active and add it over, you've got to add rule. And as you can see now, the sword has disappeared, but the other blue item's still there. The sword's still there. You can press your hotkey to show it again. Once you press your hotkey, you can still pick stuff up. And if you notice this time as well, the scepter disappeared. Now the scepter's a different rarity, but it is a is it classed as a one-handed? I had one-handed weapons. So we had all, so it's hid that. So that's because we had all. Now you can click on that and then edit the rule. And then we think, well, I might want it to show scepters. So we'll just select the sword, confirm, and now we need to update it. So this time it's hidden the sword that was here, but not the scepter that was there. Yeah, so that's how you can hide uh, certain items. Right, so what else can we do with it? Let's get rid of that. So you might want it to show items that have got a certain affix on. So let's pick all this up first, and we'll declutter the ground. So let's say we want it to show for an affix. Uh, let's say there's a particular affix we want for crafting, and let's say that affix is uh, throwing damage. Yeah, we'll do that. Right. So again, we'll go to our loop filter, add rule. Let's just get it to hide. and we'll get it to uh, rarity. I'll just hide them all at the moment. Doesn't matter. Right, so it's there we have. So that item's hidden. But let's say we don't want it to hide anything we're throwing damage on, right? So now we want it to show an item. So we're going to show. We're going to add a condition. Now the throwing damage is an affix, so we'll choose affix. So now we need to find uh, throwing damage. So it's an offensive. Yeah. Is it throwing? So we can select all like before, or we can select the actual one we want. Again, it can reduce the amount of clutter on the ground. So let's say for this we'll select all because we might want all throwing and confirm and add. Right, so now it's showing it. Even though we've got all them items hidden, it's showing that. Now the other thing I want to mention is that the order that these rules are in take priority. Yeah, so if we move that to the bottom, it will still hide it because now this rule is above it, it takes priority. If we move this rule back above it, it will show it. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense. So it makes a difference the position that your items are in. So for example, I'll bring up an example of the one I've been using recently. So, as you noticed there, the the text changed. I capitalized it. So that's something else you can do as well. In the rule, it gives you an option to enhance the text. So I've got it here to hide whole normal, but that's at the bottom. But if a normal magic or rare drops with one of these affixes on that I've checked, it will show it. And the reason I've got them checked is so that I can smash them up at the vendor with shatter to get the uh, the affixed materials because I was collecting them for I think I was collecting them for throwing. Which one is it? I don't have a lot. That one, yeah. Added physical throwing damage while dual wielding. I've only got 8 of them, so I was looking for a few more of them. So I didn't want my loot filter to hide them. So I've got that at the top. So again, that's an example. Let's go back to the demo. Uh, so we'll chuck these on ground. So now we've got 2 unique items on the ground. So we might not want to see all the uniques, yeah, or we might not want to see. Let's chuck a set item. So we might not want to see items from another class that we can't wear. So again, your filter can sort that. So you add a rule. So hide, add a condition. So we can go to class requirements. So let's say so I'm on my rogue now. So I might not want to see anything from these. So do that. I should have done this other side at platform, shouldn't I? And that set item's now disappeared. This body armor here is now disappeared. Yeah. And if we add rule for item type, so we'll add, say, relic. So item type, accessories, relic, confirm. Remember to click add rule. And and I've just cocked up because I didn't change it to hide. I've got it still on show. Good habit in to clicking this is the first thing you do when you go into a rule. I've done it so many times, I forget to do that. So update, and as you can see now, that one's hidden. Yeah, so you can do this for basically everything in the game that you can think of, whether it's in a fix. So if it was a fix, you could, you know, melee with cold damage or anything like that, or class requirements, like I mentioned, level. Now, levels don't work same in Last Epoch as other games because some items, so like for example, as you can see, that sword I'm using, that dagger, is level 71, whereas the ring I'm using is only level 43. So if I was to hide everything below level 70, say, that I might not see that ring. So what you would have to do is set up a filter above that level requirement. So you just be a bit careful with setting it for level requirement because sometimes, again, like there, for this build I'm running, these Laraka claws, Lirakas, well, however these are best in slot for this build, but they're only level 45. So don't think or assume that a higher level is definitely the better item. So be careful with shift filter if you create a filter to hide bar level because you might actually hide stuff that you need. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, uh, you can always create two. You could create uh, hide bar level and basically hide everything below level say 70. So we've got it there now. So it'll hide everything below level 70, as you can see there. Yeah, they're all hidden. You know what? I'm just going to pick these up and move them away from that flipping crafting bench because I keep clicking on it. So they're all hidden because, like you see, they're below level 70. So if they drop with that filter, you could miss out. So what you could do is just enable it for a particular item that you want. So you might want it for relic. So let's say shift def. So we'll add a rule. So we'll put it to show, add a condition, item type, accessories was it, relic, and it'll show the relic. And again, like I mentioned before, the order that these are in can be dependent on whether that filter works. If you've got them in wrong order, it won't work. Yeah. So I hope that has helped you a little bit if you're coming into Last Epoch. I'm still new to the game. I started playing it just about 4 weeks ago. I gave up with Diablo 4. That's an absolute joke, that game. I gave up with Diablo 4. I tried a bit on Path of Exile. Absolutely loved it. But I gave up with that. One, to try Last Epoch, because I wanted to be open-minded and try it. But I felt, with Path of Exile, I felt it was a bit too punishing when you lose XP at the end game if you die. And I felt that it doesn't encourage you to attempt harder content to progress because you can tend to play it safe too much at the fear of losing your XP. So you don't want to spend like 10 minutes losing XP that you might have took 2 hours to get. So I felt that was a bit counterproductive in Path of Exile. And I come to Last Epoch, and I love that. So out of the two games as an alternative to D4, for me, Last Epoch is sort of sits in the right place. But I'm definitely looking forward to Path of Exile 2 coming out. So yeah, it's like Marmite, you know, you either like it, you don't. That's the same for Last Epoch or Path of Exile. I think D4 is, I'm a big fan of D4, but I think it's going to be end of year before that game's anywhere near where it needs to be. I think we're going to be waiting for DLC to be coming out before they start getting their act together to get the game into a reasonable state before the DLC, and then it'll be an interesting place to see where we go with them. But yeah, for now, I think Last Epoch is the one to be playing. But again, it's just an opinion. You know, if D4 is still your thing, then yeah, go for it. But anyway, I hope that's helped you with the loot filter. Absolutely fantastic feature in the game. And if you've got any questions, just hit me up in the comments. Feel free to subscribe or like if that's your thing. And for now, Mystic Dude out.